Hello again. Welcome back to the Convergence or Sovereignty series. This is consciousness studies and biofield mechanics developed through a self-governing, active learning, defense and response model of thought, processed through an active listening, self-propagating, non-dual somatic program language for mind, brain, heart, nervous system, free will coherence. I'm Jamie Rice, the developer of the science of Poli-Si, an acronym for Policing Science, Systems, Thought, and Consciousness, and the architect of the Poli-Si Sovereign Resonant Formalism. It is basically a blueprint for operationalizing consciousness and building an advanced sovereign encryption system. So I'm recording this video to stake my claim in agency. This is a free energy exchange, which is why I will not seek permission, approval, agreement, or validation for this body of work. If you practice the 5-minute 0-point guided journey from the last video, you've already started installing the stable reference point this work needs. So thank you for running the protocol. I want to speak plainly and directly about what Poli-Si is versus what it is not. Poli-Si is not a belief system. Poli-Si is not a group, a movement, or an ideology that you join. Poli-Si is not something you agree with or follow. Poli-Si is a map. At its core is one operational formula supported by nested layers of protocols that together run an entire sovereign stack: the mind, brain, heart, nervous system, and free will choice in full coherent resonance. So at the heart is one equation. It's very simple. Information, which is raw input, plus knowledge, which is processed understanding, minus dissonance, which comes through many forms. It can come through duality, polarity, depersonalization, disassociation, rumination, trauma, addiction. But when we reverse engineer the formula, we come up with mind, brain, heart, nervous system, free will coherence, which is basically your stable reference 0-point calm. So all information here is open source with proper attribution to Poli-Si. Commercial use requires written permission. And this work is basically engage at your own risk. So we are not skimming at the surface here. We are systematically addressing the unconscious beliefs, hidden biases, and default defense mechanisms that have been running your system on autopilot for years, often decades. So this is a needle and haystack work. We dive deep into the architecture of the personality itself, decoding, encoding, and recoding unconscious reactions and responses, so we can understand exactly how biodigital technology is able to override consciousness. So when we probe these layers, the work is very labor intensive. It's slow, it's precise, and it can oftentimes be very uncomfortable. There is no quick fix here, no bypass, and no one else can do this work for you. This is why we build everything on a deliberate spiral, recursive and slow over time as we heal polarity and release trauma. As we strengthen our intellect, emotional intelligence, and nervous system capacity together layer by layer. We never inundate. We front load coherence so your system can actually hold the next turn of the spiral. So right now, we are working at the earliest coils, building the cognitive processes for sensory, spatial, temporal perception, while organizing and quieting the mind. We are establishing the true observer-observed witness position, which requires genuine introspection. So it is the direct felt sense of what is happening inside your body in real time. So there is no easy way around this, and the intellect alone is not enough. So let me show you how the observer-observed witness triad in action, how it actually works. So let's place one hand on your heart and one on your belly. Take one conscious breath. Ask yourself, what is the raw sensory input right now before any story? Feel the temperature of the air on your skin, the weight of your body, and the gentle rise and fall of your chest. Notice any thoughts or the inner voice that arises. Observe that thought. Observe the one who is observing that thought. Now let's step into the witness, the non-dual master controller that sees both without getting identified. That's the triad, alive and working. Now let's return to your breath. This is the living practice. Taking moments, listening, feeling into your body, seeing where you're holding any tension. So this is why we run everything through the active listening, self-propagating, non-dual somatic program language. We front-load consciousness, conscious intention without sensory awareness. First is just another mental story. So none of this is possible unless we first front-load our own unwavering commitment to evolution. So we ask almost nothing of you except this. Approach Poli-Si from a non-judgment, non-attachment, non-expectation position. Run the protocols. We invite you to challenge every thought, concept, idea, and belief. Do not take our word for anything. Everything must be processed through your body and registered at 0-point clarity. This is not content for passive consumption. This is operational field work on your own consciousness. All are welcome here. However, you must enter with full awareness that Poli-Si will challenge every internal and external belief you hold about yourself and life itself. If you're heavily polarized, if you believe your people are the chosen people, or if you carry strong ties to religious, cultural, or societal programs, you will be challenged to its core. Poli-Si was not invented. It was discovered through 20 years of rigorous inquiry and direct development of my own wetware. So our research has given us the capacity to see what most cannot. Yet our only message is this: the world has shifted. We do not get caught up in the stories in Poli-Si. The choice before us is simple. It is convergence or sovereignty. Both paths carry their own challenges. We choose our heart. We focus exclusively on what we can control. Start with yourself. Everything expands outward from there, taking full accountability for coherence. The results are entirely up to you. We can only share with you what is possible on this path. Here, we face our fears directly, no running and no hiding. We shift awareness to the domain that we can actually govern through our free will, our thoughts, perceptions, intentions, motivations, and behaviors. We decide who we choose to become, what we choose to experience, and we hold coherent space for our own evolution. Our central focus remains truth, transparency, coherence, and authenticity. Most people will not engage at this level. That is fine. The map still remains here for those who will. If you're still here, you're already choosing sovereignty over coherence. Keep running your 0-point practice every day. That 0-point baseline calm is far more than a nice feeling. It becomes your truth detector, your safe space, your laboratory, and your protection. It's the eye of the storm amid any external or internal chaos. So we will be strengthening that position, and yes, it will get very uncomfortable. We will learn through explicit problem solving and decision making formulas. One of the first capabilities we must develop is how to work through sensory overload from inside this coherent center. So from this stabilized reference point, you can probe the needle in the haystack without legacy survival scripts getting in the way. From here, you run the formulas cleanly. You test what is verifiably true and then reroute with precision. So we do not guess here. We offer facts. In the next video, we will begin the operational deployment of the Mirror protocol, the first major tool for detecting unconscious patterns in real time. Remember, the biofield is always listening. Front load sovereignty. Commit to the spiral. Thank you for the time, and I look forward to evolving with you.